City Current. Produced by Dakota Media Access. In-depth discussion with Bismarck and Mandan city officials. Watch on Government Access Channel 602 HD or tune in to Radio Access 102.5 FM. Always local, always current.
Welcome to City Current. I'm Tom Gerhardt from Dakota Media Access, along with Mandan City Administrator Jim Neubauer. Welcome in, Jim.
Thanks, Tom. Little chill in the air this morning, and even right now.
I put on a light jacket this morning for the first time after this warm summer. Hey, if you didn't have time to watch the City Commission meeting last night in Mandan, we've got you covered. A few of the topics we'll be highlighting today. Talk about Free Landfill Week coming up in September. Look over that 2024 audit, give you results from that, and an update on the cigar lounge that was talked about last night, and a little nugget that you passed along to me, Jim, that is of interest. Mandan will be
I believe we are the only cigar lounge now, cigar pipe, able to smoke a pipe in the cigar lounge in the state of North Dakota. As far as I know, as of today. We'll just leave it at that.
As of September 3rd.
Yes.
All right, well, let's start things off with announcements and Free Landfill Week. That's coming up September 15th through the 20th.
Right. We do the fall or the spring cleanup where we will pick up items off of the curb that folks will set out. And in the fall, it's really a heavy lift for our public works folks, and we bring in other crews to help us out. So in the fall, we open the landfill up, and I think the times are from 8 o'clock till 8:45 p.m. So we're open a little bit in the evening to help those folks that bring your items and an ID so that we can make sure you're a Mandan resident out to the landfill. We also want to mention that tires and appliances that normally we charge for, we will still charge you for them, but for a lot of your other miscellaneous items, if you have paint cans, we want you to make sure those paint cans are empty, put a little sand or a little dirt in them, and away we go. But again, April, I'm thinking to next spring already. September 15th through the 20th. And like I said, we've got information on our website and check social media, and we encourage folks to do their fall cleanup at this time.
Yeah, and of course, we can't go over everything here, but you mentioned that website. It's on the graphic, cityofmandan.com /landfill week. So if you want to get all the details and get into the weeds on what's happening, you can
no pun intended.
Check in there. No pun intended.
Bring your and like I said, our dumpsters will remain out until the snow flies and things like that. When people are cleaning up their gardens and cleaning up their yards, those will still remain. But again, for your household items that you want to take to the landfill, please feel free to do so during that week.
Such an abrupt change, isn't it? Just going from thinking about summer and Labor Day, and suddenly we're thinking about preparing for winter.
85, 90 degrees into, it's only 54 today.
Crazy. Which also leads us to talk about, what do they call it in North Dakota, the fifth season, construction season. So we have an update on a number of projects taking place in Mandan, starting with Memorial Highway.
Yeah, Jarek, our city engineer, gives us an update every commission meeting on major projects. Memorial Highway being one of the largest in the community right now, and a lot of work is going on to get the underground work done before we can start seeing the above ground concrete go on. We know that there are, I think the contractor may plan on bringing in a couple other underground contractors to make sure that they can get this done. We had a meeting with North Dakota DOT representatives, and also the president of REDI was in town last week, where we expressed, we don't have that much time left, and what we can expect and when we can expect those kind of things. We know that there will be a hard driving surface no matter what, come snow fly and things like that. So we don't want to think all the concrete will not be down, because we've been assured that it will be down, and we'll have 5 lanes of driving. If it's not concrete, it'll be temporary asphalt surface down for the wintertime, so it won't be the sloppy, gravelly mud mess. Now we've got a little bit of a roller coaster, or as it's been dubbed as the wavy bacon ride. The wavy bacon road right now. I'm surprised people are, hey, that's kind of fun to drive on. It might be fun now, wintertime. I don't think it's going to be so enjoyable. But again, construction work continues on Memorial Highway, and we're looking forward to having that one completed.
All right, well, we'll keep our eyes on that the next couple of months as we prepare for winter. Some other projects, the water treatment plant, the phase 3, Jarek touched on as well.
Phase 3 optimization, which has a lot to do with the CO2 process that our water treatment goes through, pouring slabs of concrete out there. And actually, I think we need a new room for the CO2 because it's a little bit of dangerous stuff that we may need to make sure that that is in a safe environment, and some other updates that are going on at the plant.
And then tell us about the Collins Avenue Reservoir. We can see a footprint there.
Yeah, interesting. This is a drone shot taken by the contractor. It's one of those projects that you don't see until you see it. And right now, there's been a whole lot of work been going on the Collins Avenue site. The existing reservoir will remain operable until our new reservoir goes online. People are starting to see some of the concrete walls go up on the sides, and also there will be some changes to that intersection of Division and Collins to improve sightline distances as you're coming from the east to the entering Collins from the east side. So we can look forward to that. That may be into the spring, but again, work on the reservoir is actually going pretty well. And then we think we found some old remnants of a previous reservoir, so this might be the third or fourth reservoir on this site that needed to be removed.
Okay.
So
Well, and that drone shot, super interesting too, and the perspective, I just wonder, that's a big piece of concrete.
it's substantial. That's, I believe, a 2 million gallon reservoir. We have another reservoir that our last one we built was on the south side of town, up on the 14th Street. That was a 4 million gallon reservoir, compartmentalized so that we could do 2 million gallons at a time. We built that in the looking forward, so we knew we'd need 4 million eventually. So let's build that 4 million right away. But we were only using 2 million to start out with. This will be a 2 million gallon reservoir just because that site footprint will allow for that. And like I said, we're looking for the completion of that. But it's fun to watch.
Yeah.
Some of these actually go up.
These huge and ultimately, this helps the citizens of Mandan.
Yes, this reservoir will act in conjunction with the Southside Reservoir, where they're both pretty much at the same elevation. So all of your pressure ranges in there stay the same. Again, the old reservoir, I think, was 75 years old, and they do deteriorate over time. Yeah. Just a matter of no matter how much maintenance you do to it, there becomes a point in time where there's nothing left of that reservoir, and we certainly want to make sure that we don't have a catastrophic failure,
right?
Anything like that. So,
last night, no public comment, no public hearings, no old business. So moving down on the agenda, under new business, you had Brady Martz come and give results of the annual 2024 audit in this case.
Right. So Mindy Piatz from Brady Martz gave the commission an update on here's where the city's financial position in the audit. We received I'll call it a clean opinion or unqualified opinion, which means that there were no changes that need to be made, and that is the best opinion that we can get. So we're very pleased. Our finance department, with Greg and Justin leading the charge there, they always have some suggestions for us that we can do to implement. But again, we have an unmodified audit opinion, which is the best that you can get.
And highest level of assurance CPA firms can provide, as you can see right there on your screen. So things are looking good financially.
Yeah, financially, and it goes through and says the process and controls that we have in that place. They test, federal grants that we receive, and we need to make sure that we're following all of those guidelines, and we are. And therefore, like I said, that's a big part of that audit is them coming in and providing independent review on what we're doing. And what this says is that we're doing things right.
Heard about an infant at work policy last night that the board, the commissioners ultimately passed unanimously.
Yeah, very interesting. We passed a few years ago. We have a mother's room at work now, and we're able to apply for some grant funds to make that happen. Infant work is a way to encourage folks. If you're having a baby and you need to bring that child to work at times, this is a test phase that we're going through right now to make sure that this actually works. We've modeled it after the state of North Dakota's, and some input from all of our directors and all of our employees to make sure that, hey, we want to do something that encourages folks to stay, make sure we are a family-friendly environment. We always say that family comes first, and we want to make sure that we're putting that into practice. So, again, there's very good checks and balances in this. So it's not hey, if things aren't working out, then maybe
Right.
there's too much of a disruption, or that this just isn't working for either the employee or the employer. We can say, okay, it's not working, let's try something else.
Yeah,
And
I
move
was,
on.
I was going to mention that it's not like just some clear across the board policy. Those checks and balances
Yep.
are important. And then was it Commissioner Heinchan? Somebody brought up a good point for you guys to consider. You know, are there changing tables?
Yes.
So that's something you look in and accommodate if they're not there.
Yeah, we had that conversation this morning and said, okay, where do we buy changing tables? Because we're going, that's something that we hadn't thought of. So very good input from the commission. And you were looking and putting some of those in both male and female restrooms and things like that at City Hall. So again, we fully understand this will not work for all jobs. Very difficult for a police officer, very difficult for a firefighter, very difficult for a public works operator. You're not going to be driving a snowplow with your infant
Right.
in the plow with you. Some of these are compatible, and some of those jobs that we do are just not compatible, and we all fully understand that.
Yeah. We touched on this at the beginning of the program, but discussion about a cigar lounge.
Yes.
Again, the commission unanimously passed that last night, but give us an update on that. And again, as far as you know, it took effect immediately, is that
Yeah,
right? It'd be the only one in
after
the
the
state?
second consideration last night, the board voted to approve the ordinance, so the ordinance is in the books. If you have pipe tobacco, that can be smoked in a cigar lounge, not, like I said, it's something that, Mandan is the first in the state, I think, on the cigar lounge, and will be the first in the state to adopt the pipe smoking in that cigar lounge. So again, you have to make sure you have adequate ventilation, and all those requirements are there for a cigar lounge. And we were approached by, a business owner that said, hey, let's do pipe tobacco also. So in essence, the board approved that last night we received very little, if any, feedback from it. We did make sure we reached out to our public health partners and let them know here's what is going on the agenda. And in the public health world, of course, they're going to say smoking's bad, right? Fully get that. But at the end of the day, I think the commission said, all right, if that's your choice, you can do it in a cigar lounge, and away we go. So, and like I said, I think the owners of the cigar lounge are very pleased, and I think they have seen this as a thing. It may not be my thing, may not be your thing, but people want to go enjoy a cigar, they can go enjoy some pipe tobacco also in there too.
And you mentioned this, but I think you mentioned it last night too. Didn't receive any public input.
Right.
Obviously, the public has the opportunity.
Yep.
And nobody really came
No
forward.
comments,
Yeah.
and so it's like, okay, this might be a very quiet issue, and this is a result of some state law that was changed in the last legislative session, and so we'll implement that, and away we go.
And speaking of state laws that
Yes.
were updated in the last legislative session, you had to do the same as far as some traffic and vehicle laws in the city of Mandan.
Yeah, it's one of those things that the Legislative Assembly made some changes as far as what we can and can't do. One of the things that we were allowed to do several years ago was, cities were given the option of you can double the fine, right? So if it's a $20 ticket for speeding, whatever that would be, the city, you could, if you adopt your ordinances, to double that fine, so you go to $40. In this case, one of those changes was you can't do that anymore. So they didn't like that, but the thing going from 75 to 80 miles an hour doesn't really affect us because we don't have any 75 or 80 mile an hour speed limits within our corporate boundaries. But one of those important changes was in a construction zone, like we talked about earlier. We've got Monty Drive, we've got Memorial Highway, we've got a lot of areas that are under construction right now,
Yep.
and that will be every summer. And moving those fines from $80 to $150. So if it is 25 on Memorial Highway in the construction area, and it is, so we encourage you to slow down and please be safe for yourself, be safe for all the workers that are out there. It's 25. If you're speeding through there, your fine rather than $80 would be $150.
And I said this to you off camera, and City of Bismarck had to adjust as well. But one item that caught my attention was we don't have to use our signals anymore in the roundabouts. So what a
Real
weight-
world
what a weight
issues,
off
I
of our
think we said
shoulders,
that.
right?
So, you don't have to signal when you're going through a roundabout. I don't know that we've ever, can honestly say I doubt that we've given anyone a ticket for not signaling when they're exiting the roundabout. But in this case, as roundabouts become more popular, we look at the one that we have on Collins Avenue and Old Red Trail, and that has worked extremely well. A lot of naysayers at the beginning were, oh, you can't do that.
Change is
People
hard,
won't figure
right?
it out. Change is difficult. But in fact, the compliments that we get, thank you for putting that in. It works really well. I've been up there in the mornings. I've been up there in the evenings, and it moves. Sometimes a little slower than other times. Everybody just be smart when they're going through. But now that you don't have to signal, you might not get honked at by someone behind you or to the side of you.
Right. We already talked about Memorial Highway, but I thought we could put this website and QR code up again
Right.
if anybody wants to scan it or find out the latest, keep tabs on what's happening out there. I thought I'd just pop this up and pass it along. I know that's, again, such a significant project. It's going to be such a great thing. Please drive the speed limit, but we also, of course, want to encourage people to go down Memorial
continue to
Highway.
patronize those businesses. We know that the intersection of 46th Avenue and Memorial Highway is closed down right now, or minimal traffic through there, and it'll be like that for a month. On my way over here this morning, I saw a couple of large backhoes in that area working very diligently. We want to get that put back as soon as we can. We know that it affects those neighboring businesses, so please do your best to continue to patronize them. Still go to their stores, still go boat shopping, still go vehicle shopping, still go have a meal at a couple of the restaurants that are along that route. We know it is inconvenient, but at the end of the day, I think it'll turn out to be a really great project, and we're looking forward to its completion.
We have another QR code to run by you, and that is to download our DMA app or our Radio Access 102.5 app. And of course, you can even find us on your smart TV, whether you use Apple TV, Roku, Fire Stick, which I have at home, and you can find Dakota Media Access, watch all the meetings, or we have all of this on video on demand, including City Current. And we've found that over half of our web traffic goes to find and watch old government meetings. So there is significant interest in both Bismarck and Mandan and what's happening in Burley and Morton County as well.
And I think it's a great thing. I know that me personally have, even last night, we had two meetings going on at the same time, right? We had the Bismarck and Burley counties kind of
They're combined,
getting
yep.
together to meet, and our regular meeting, and both of those were being aired live, I believe, on Dakota Media Access. And I was trying to get one up on my phone. I said, okay, start paying attention to the meeting and leave that one alone. So,
Right.
I would say multitask, not when you're in the car, not when you're in a commission meeting, but if you want to get a highlight of what's going on in the community, this is a great place to be.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it, Jim. Thanks to all of you for joining in. The next Mandan City Commission meeting is September 16th, and we'll see you next time on City Current.
For more information on what was discussed in this episode of City Current, visit cityofmandan.com or call 701-667-3215. If you have any suggestions, comments, or issues you would like addressed in future City Current episodes, contact us at info@freetv.org. This program airs on Government Access Channel 2 and 602 in HD, or on Radio Access 102.5 FM. It's also available as a podcast on radioaccess.org and as a video viewing link at freetv.org. Thanks for tuning in to this edition of City Current.